everything is can be used for anything. Let's imagine a world without any religions, right? Let's just do that for a second. Because people who are anti-religious imagine a world where there's no religion and think that 7 billion humans are just going to get along, right? But what is that thing that keeps human beings getting along? What are those guiding values and what are those valuable principles that will keep people from going at each other? What is it? Because people do not operate just naturally and get along, especially when we're all different, right? Love is not enough. Love is a feeling. Like, human beings don't love each other that much, right? Agreements are not enough. We go to war all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, religion is, at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, it really doesn't matter. But religion is the most effective tool of keeping people under the guidance of principles, right? That's it. Some of those buzzwords y'all just throwing out there, truth, none of that stuff matters to human beings when there's a complex systems, right, require human beings to get along. Whether you believe in capitalism, socialism, Marxism, whatever you fall under, right, there's going to always have to be a system and there's going to always have to be institution, right, because you have to create order. What stops man from just going crazy and doing anything that he wants, right? He has to be able to control his will. Right? What keeps men from controlling themselves? When people, want to reform themselves and redeem themselves, they find faith, right? They find something higher than themselves to believe in. So as much people always talk about religion as a system of control and power, you have to look at it in whose hands. You know what I'm saying? Man uses knowledge, right, for control and power. It's not just religion itself. It's knowledge and evil and decent and moral men who utilize it. Right? We got a saying called not Islam, but Hislam, right? When you create it and you make your own dirty religion from those principles. Because otherwise, all it is people that want to be atheists or Satanists who believe that man should have no rules and be able to do whatever they want. And therefore, there should be no scrutiny or chastisement whatsoever. We wouldn't build prisons if that was the case. We wouldn't have punishment when men do things against each other. So, when we go back to systems of religion, it's really based on the mathematical principles of our nature, but it's put together in a certain way so that you're guided to know, all right, what are the commandments? Do not lie, do not steal. Are those not good commandments? Right? So, spirituality, a lot of times, it doesn't mean anything to people. People just say, I'm spiritual. That don't mean anything. It just means you breathing. Because spirit is breath. Spirit is breath. You know what I'm talking about? So just to say you spiritual doesn't actually mean that. That's like saying you breathing. This is an act of spirit.
What if they just trying to say they're in the line with a particular religion, so that's why they say they're spiritual?
I know, but they also saying I don't know. That's what I'm saying. You saying you don't have the answer. At least people who align with a religion have an answer for what they want to do. People who just say they spiritual, then it's like you're afraid to commit to something. If that was the case, nobody said you have to pick one of the major religions, but come up with your own. Right? And if you come up with your own, I promise you it's going to be so similar to one of the major ones, you're going to be like, I might as well be a part of it. Because you're going to have to use that as a template.
Yeah, I think but it comes down to, like, people just don't align with some of it, you know what I'm saying? Fully, you know what I'm saying? That's why they take some from each one.
Yeah, but the reason that doesn't work, because that's the thing about discipline. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's parts of yourself that we may align with that are bad for us. You know what I'm saying? And religion is not about a complete 100% whole agreement, right? But it's about sacrificing your will to be good, right? Because our will sends us on all these different paths when we follow ourselves. So I believe that it's best to find, yes, truth in all religions for sure, right? It's best to follow the truth, but some people need more order than others as well. You know what I'm saying? So religion does that for a lot of people, for an extreme amount of people. This is why, so the problem is when religions go at each other and they feel like they have to fight back and forth. That's where we find the unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? I don't see a reason why Christians, I'm talking about like true, pure like Christians and Muslims have to fight.
That's what birthed the group of people that sound spiritual. They don't know how to deal with all the chaos.
Well, them people was fight. It was people fighting before that, though. Religions didn't start wars. There was already wars just for different purpose. Man, just to, like, there. If you go back into like the different eras, right? Whether it's the Protestant Christians and it's the Catholics going at each other, right? Because one believe in this pure idea version of God, one has to go through this Pope, or you believe in the Sunnis and the Shiites. One is more a Prophet Muhammad-esque religion, and one says that no, it's first Allah with everything, right? You find these wars back and forth throughout time. This is man in his mind.
So you don't think it's possible for somebody to take, for an example, they can take principles from Christianity, then principles from Islam, and then principles from Buddhism.
Yeah, that's called reading the books.
That's what I'm saying, but they not aligned with either one of them. They just
those books,
to their journey.
Once you read them, what you go find is those. What part of those books are really unaligned when you get to the pure version of them? Like what really is the unalignment? Jesus used to pray like a Muslim, and he say Allah. He spoke Aramaic, right?
The connection is once you get older, you find out like Jesus is not white and all of this shit. No,
yeah.
So that'd be the disconnect.
But that's disconnection from the version of religion that you were taught. You know, the purest form you're gonna have to decode the Ethiopian Bible. I don't see why is that. Why is there all these different versions that we allow people to put spins and narratives? Because changing one word or two words changes the whole entire meaning of context that was given. And if it's the word of God, you can't change a single word. You have to go directly with what he said. Otherwise, it changes course of history. You know what I'm saying? But I also can see why sometimes war was started, you know what I mean, when there was a sweeping faith over a land and it allowed men to be savages. Right? If it allows for like pedophilia, and rape, and murder, and right, or if it's extremist, right, where people are doing these crazy things, right, then of course you're going to bring in religion to try to satisfy some sort of order. They used to have witch hunts, killing people just for doing herbs and things of that nature, right? So man will come and say, well, I'm conquering this land and my faith will rule over this land. Right? Now, whether that's wrong or right, you know what I'm saying, is the debate itself. But look at today's wars, right, are mostly about resources. It's not about religion. It's about resources. They lied to you in the third. These are wars of resources played by the 1% to control the world, and the rest of the people they're utilizing their faith, right? And because they know that they're sheep and that they won't think about the real agenda behind it. So they say, hell, Islam is coming to try to steal your Christianity. Christianity's coming, like the people are just being used. Your religion is being used to fool you for the real reason that the wars are going on in the first place. But Trump ain't selling the Bible because he wants y'all to be better Christians. He understands how your faith works and how to hack that attention and get you to buy something to help him out with his campaign. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real here. And nobody ever said there was nothing wrong with being spiritual. So y'all, like, I believe, you know, your ability to interpret and understand matters. I never said there was anything wrong with being spiritual. And when we sometimes feel attacked, we don't listen. You know what I'm saying? People do not listen most of the time. The moment you start saying you disagree with something, you stop listening. And all you want to do is get your point out. See, I became intelligent by listening to different points, by going into different books, by listening to different religions, by listening to different people. So therefore I can hear not just my side, and I always give myself the benefit of being wrong. You know what I'm saying? I never said that I have to be right. I ain't got to be right, I just got to be learning. There's room for me to be wrong because I'm not perfect. But most of us cannot even allow for a difference of understanding. So we have no empathy. I can listen to a Christian all day and you can tell me why you believe your thing is right. I'm just going to have questions. But when I say spiritual is a broad term, tell me what spiritual means. And everybody has their own definition. It's just this personal feeling that you have, right, in existence. But everybody is spiritual. It's very hard to not be spiritual in some way or another. Very hard to not be spiritual. It's just the way you define the essence of spirituality. But spirit is a molecule of breath and energy. And man is hopefully spiritual. So You know, all religious people are spiritual people, first of all. Like, all religious people are spiritual people. That's a fact. They believe in the spirit. They pray. They have rituals and connection to try to keep them alive with spirit. You know what I'm saying? There's good and bad spirits. You know, this is pick a side season, so if that's what you want to do, right? But you got to have some principles. How else do you know whether you're being good or not? How do you keep yourself disciplined without principles? It's like having rules. In business, it's the same way. Relationships, it's the same way. Everything has principles to it. The universe has laws to it. You try to defy those rules and you can't build. You know what I'm saying? You believe in the law of manifestation. That's a principle. That's a rule.